President Bola Tinubu is now in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to attend the Joint Arab-Islamic Summit, which will focus on the current situation in the Middle East. FRSC flags off Ember Month campaign in some parts of the country to ensure free flow of traffic within the festive periods, plus trending news in the world of sports. Good afternoon and welcome to Panorama. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. President Bola Tinubu is now in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to attend the Joint Arab-Islamic Summit, which will focus on the current situation in the Middle East. The presidential airplane landed at the King Abdulaziz International Airport at about 10 a.m. local time. President Tinubu was received on arrival by a delegation led by the Deputy Governor of Riyadh, Prince Mohammed Abdulrahman. The Riyadh summit is scheduled to commence tomorrow, Monday, November 11, 2024. A statement by the Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, indicates that the event is at the instance of King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. During the summit, President Tinubu is expected to address the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict, emphasizing Nigeria's strong call for an immediate ceasefire and the urgent need for a peaceful resolution. Nigeria will also advocate for renewed efforts to revive the two-state solution as a pathway to lasting peace in the region. The president is expected to return after the conclusion of the summit. The air component of Operation Hadinkai in support of ongoing counter-terrorism by the armed forces of Nigeria delivered a crushing blow to ISWAP terrorists, neutralizing more insurgents and obliterating strategic hideouts. A statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Olushola Akimboyewa, indicates that this successful strike marks a major leap forward in Nigeria's relentless counter-terrorism campaign, significantly weakening the enemy's stronghold. Towards reducing road crashes before, during and after Ember Months, the Federal Road Safety Corps, Osun Sector Command, is set to provide adequate personnel to ensure free flow of traffic within the states. The Sector Commander, Adeyemi Shokumbi, gave the assurance at a sensitization program to flag off the 2024 Ember Months campaign in the state. Kayode Oladoshu reports.
Making roads safe for road users is a major priority of road safety and traffic management personnel, particularly during the last quarter of the year, referred to as Ember Months. It is on this premise that the Federal Road Safety Corps, Osun State Command, organized an awareness town hall meeting for stakeholders with the theme, Speak Up Against Dangerous Driving. Road crashes kill more passengers than drivers.
This new approach is to sensitize the motoring public, promote community involvement, encourage passengers to speak up against dangerous driving.
The society as a whole, that you need to speak up and to curb reckless drivers on the highway.
While attributing major road crashes to human errors, speakers at the event called on road users to abide by traffic codes and regulations. Highlight of the event was the symbolic declaration of 2024 Ember Month campaign by the command. In Oshogbo, Kayode Oladoshu, NTA.
In a related development, the Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps, Shehu Mohammed, has condemned the fatal crash that occurred at Meirua on the Funtua-Sokoto Road in Katsina State on Saturday, which claimed 15 lives, leaving 13 others sustaining various degrees of injuries. The accident, the Corps Marshal says, is not only preventable, but highly condemnable, noting that if the driver had observed established legal speed limits, ensured adequate vehicle maintenance, and complied with traffic regulations, the crash would have been avoided. The Meirua crash involved a Toyota Ace bus, which loaded passengers from Zamfara heading to the southern part of the country and had a tire burst in Merua village, which eventually led to the loss of control as the driver rammed head-on onto a Seno truck, killing 15 people. Opposition political parties and other interest groups have been enjoined to always consider the unity of Nigeria first. A non-governmental organization, We Are United Movement of Nigeria, at a media briefing in Abuja, applauded President Tinubu for activating governance at the third tier. Timothy Yusuf tells us more.
Autonomy granted local government councils recently is the way to go, and the need to extend similar gesture to the traditional institution is the only agenda here. Politics and the role of traditional rulers. Members believe that traditional rulers are the closest individuals to every community, but unfortunately without constitutional powers to perform its responsibility effectively.
I think the kings of the village, they know everybody. They are the one that can say, my son, come. This thing you are doing is not good.
I have to thank Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for a wonderful job he's doing so far. People should permit Mr. President a bit of time to do the job he has called him to do. And democracy means justice for all.
They emphasized that Nigeria's traditional institution can assist with curbing social vices, advance the socio-political needs of the people to government, among other priority areas. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, says the efficient cut-down of the contract sum by 30% of the total for the supply of cancer center equipment to the new cancer centers being built by the federal government through the NSIA has positioned Nigeria to build more health infrastructure with less resources. The coordinating minister noted this as he observed the signing of the equipment supply contract between Siemens Health and the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, in Abuja.
I appreciate you for the significant concession discount of 30%, which amounts to quite a significant amount of money, really, that we are clawing back to serve the public. We are in the business of making Nigerians healthier.
This will help thousands of patients. Cancer as a disease has become so personal. There's hardly any family which is not touched by it. And I think all of us together will do a great service by ensuring that, we provide the much needed care to the patients and families. And as you said, we are committed to deliver as per the promise,
You're welcome back. Now let's kick off part 2 of Panorama by letting you know that Kano State is exploring ways of additional alternative sources of energy as a strategy to address the crises in the energy sector of the state. Apart from the adoption of solar power, the state has established a hydropower generating plant to boost energy generation. Yohana Suhasan Barao reports that the institution have also keyed into alternative sources of energy.
From ECN to NEPA, PHCN to the unbundled and privatized power sector, Nigeria rely on a single grid for the supply of electricity. With increase in population, aged and obsolete power infrastructure, vandalism among other challenges, the national grid is characterized with instability that result in frequent system failure, disrupting supply nationwide. As demand for electricity to power the country's economy continue to rise, there are calls for subnationals to look inward and develop alternative energy sources independent of the national grid, leveraging the new Electricity Act.
Today's Nigeria, any energy generating company has to now generate and supply it to a central energy systems in Okshobo, where from there you start distributing. Some of us scientists, we wonder why do we do that in a big country like Nigeria? Why not you decentralize the transmission system into zones, and then any other zone that have surplus is the surplus you can then send to the central system for warehousing, which after, if there's a deficiency in one zone, they can tap from the central system. By the time you do that, each zone has its energy master plan. And then the supply system, the generation, supply, transmission, and distribution within that zone can take care of the energy need of that zone.
We have about 2 companies now that are ready to install 3 gigawatts, that's 3,000 megawatts of solar power source in Nigeria. And this is an opportunity for the states to also invest in this. We have over 70 dams spread across the length and breadth of Nigeria. We have developed about 27 of these dams. And 27 of these dams, we are going to concession them to interested investors in small hydropower from 500 kilowatts, you understand, to 1 megawatt, to 5 megawatts, up to 15 megawatts of power. This is also useful in our distributed power strategy across the length and breadth of Nigeria.
It is expected that if each state of the Federation can harness its energy sources to power its communities, it will reduce pressure and complement the national grid, thereby ensuring available electricity supply nationwide. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
That report was actually compiled by Joshua Ojito on the need for states to have independent power supply alternatives and also save the pressure on the national grid. Let's also tell you that with a focus on renewable energy sources, Enugu State is leveraging its natural resources to reduce dependence on fossil fuels and mitigate climate change.
Enugu State, with its vast coal reserves, has historically been a major contributor to Nigeria's energy mix. However, the state recognizes the need to transition to cleaner, more sustainable energy sources. It is against this backdrop that the state has embarked on several alternative energy projects. These include solar power projects, hydroelectric power generation, and wind farms energy, promoting biogas production and implementation of energy-efficient lighting projects.
We are doing is diversification to a more sustainable energy source, which is the solar PV, for us to really make sure that the grassroots, the rural areas, benefit.
Solar power system can power a whole lot. The major cost of running these things is usually the battery, the storage system. So if you can get the energy straight from the sun and use it right away without going to store it somewhere, it will help you.
Despite progress made developing transmission infrastructure, securing funding, as well as strengthening policies to support alternative energy development, remain impediments.
The federal government of Nigeria needs to increase the budget of the universities so that they can do more researches.
With continued government support, private sector investment, and community engagement are factors driving alternative energy development in the state. In Enugu, Chiegono Aro, NTA News.
Now, earlier we told you that Kano State is exploring ways of additional alternative sources of energy, hence the establishment of a hydropower generating plant to boost energy generation in the state. Now, let's join Yohana Suhasan Barao.
Kano, like many developing states, grapples with the deepening energy crisis affecting its economy and industrial progress. In response, both state and federal governments have launched initiatives to reignite Kano's industrial sector. The AKK project, among others, aims to expand energy infrastructure, while a recent high-power delegation assessed how best to restore industrial production.
We are running 31 megawatts of electricity through clean energy.
Solar power fills some gaps in institutions and individuals embracing it. Bayero University, Kano, for instance, has built a 7.1 megawatt solar plant under the rural electrification, a testament to the state's shift toward renewable energy. At the same time, the state has developed a hydropower plant at the Tiga and Chala Gorge dams, producing 16 megawatts. Plans are also on the way to convert waste into energy, a sustainable approach to broaden electricity access for homes and even neighboring states.
The initial concept of the project is to give supply to water board and street light. But with the advent of the solar and street light system powered by solar, we decided with the approval of His Excellency to change the concept of the project.
Waste can be turned to energy and it can be turned to wealth as well. So we are promoting the use of biodigesters that will enable conversion of waste to energy.
In Kano, Yahana Hassan Barrow, NTA News.
5 metallic ferry boats have been handed over to some riverine communities in Niger State to ease water transportation and check the frequent boat mishaps in the state. Correspondent Fatima Usman reports that the boats were handed over to the benefiting communities at the Buya River in Gbako local government area of the state by the Community and Social Development Agency, facilitated by the state government.
Over the years, many Nigerians have lost their lives as a result of boat mishap on the country's inland waterways, most of which, according to industry observers, is due to disregard for safety guidelines and lack of standard boats. The recent October 2024 boat tragedy in Gbajibo community of Mokwa local government area of Niger State, which claimed more than 100 lives, has signaled the risk associated with using traditional wooden boats, night voyage, overloading, and non-use of safety jackets. Thus, the intervention by the Community and Social Development Agency, CSDA, by providing 5 number of metallic 50-seater passenger ferry boats and safety jackets to some riverine communities in the state to forestall reoccurrence.
This is a 50-seater metal boat intervention by CSDA. So inshallah, with this type of intervention, we hope not to see any boat mishap.
Each boat comes with 10 life buoys, 2 fire extinguishers, 50 life jackets for adults, and 6 number life jackets for children. And then it is powered by 2 number 40 horsepower engines, which they can use alternately.
The 5 benefiting communities are spread across Bako, Edati, Bargu, Mokwa, and Bida local government areas of Niger State. I am Fatima Usman, NTA News.
Agriculture, as a bedrock of development, must be given adequate attention to secure the nation. In Nigeria, post-harvest losses have always been a challenge to farmers' productivity and food sufficiency. Lukman Hassan in this report takes a look at the place of technology in mitigating this challenge and the role of private sectors in enhancing agriculture productivity and food sufficiency all year round.
The sector of the economy in any nation, one of the major problems faced by farmers in Nigeria is preserving their produce after bumper harvest. How can post-harvest losses be eliminated and ensure that farmers benefit more from their produce?
Preservation and raising of our own local breeds, when they are well fed, when aspects of silage and these things are being manufactured, and Nigeria has comparative advantages.
Take a particular crop and then look at that value chain. You will discover that we have a lot of job opportunities along that line. But most at times, in most cases, neglect that and then choose to export or leave that to the formal people or the white people to process what we can also process.
Israel, I've done so much, cabbage, there's irrigation, desert farming, farmer development. We can learn it. Country like Brazil, country like India has done so much and so well in the area of cooperative agriculture, insurance for farmers, and these smallholder farmers by which you can aggregate what they have and assess market by themselves.
With the use of technology such as solar refrigeration and modified atmospheric packaging, among others, what role do the private sector need to play in enhancing agriculture in Nigeria?
Each and every Nigerian now should look at what you can produce within your immediate environment, look at your soil, your weather condition, and then see the type of goods you can produce within that region.
Warehouses and all that is being created with security for investors in tractorization, animal husbandry like cattle, dairy. The private sector actually knows where to pitch their tent once there is an enabling environment.
Countries such as Australia, South Africa, Korea's rice processing centers to prevent post-harvest losses, and Norway's unique technology to preserve crop seedlings. Nigeria can leverage this and other available options for better results in agriculture and food sufficiency. In Ibadan, Lokman Hassan, NTA News.
Moving on to sports, 25 teams are in contention in the Basic Education School Sports Competition in Abuja. Correspondent Suleiman Musa has these and more on Sports Updates.
Let's begin with football. It is an exciting weekend for football lovers as Kano Pillars pick a vital away win over Bendel Insurance in the Nigerian Premier Football League Match Day 11, while Lobby Stars are out of relegation zone with a 3-1 bashing of Abia Warriors. For Sunday's fixtures, Nasarawa United will host Kwara United at the Lafia City Stadium. Plateau United take on reigning champions Rangers. Sunshine Stars are away to Heartland. Eyimba hosts Remo Stars. Rivers United plays Bayelsa United. Katsina United are up against Ikorodu City. Niger Tornadoes welcome Akwa United, and 3SC trade tackles against El Kanemi Warriors. To other news, 25 states have converged on Abuja, the nation's capital, for the first basic education school sport, which is aimed at inculcating values, discipline, teamwork, and the spirit of unity in the participants. Abdullahi Ajia reports that the Old Parade Ground play host to the opening ceremony formalities, with Team Nasarawa beating FCT 4-0 in the first football match.
These young Nigerians are among those whom the federal government have given priority and gave a certain amount, a percentage out of the matching grant it's kept aside to assist states in implementing basic education.
To basketball, Mountain of Fire and Miracle Women's Basketball Team are again at the mountain top after getting the upper hand against Nigeria Custom in all Nigeria semi-finals of the FIBA Africa Women Basketball League Zone 3 qualifiers. In a keenly contested duel, the MFM side won 57-53. They now qualify for the African Women's Basketball Finals holding in Senegal. And finally, Coco Gauff shows supreme determination to come back from a set and a breakdown against the Queen to win the season-ending WTA Finals. In an enthralling encounter that lasted just over 3 hours, the American beat the Olympic champion 3-6, 6-4, 7-6 in Saudi Arabia. The 20-year-old Gauff is now the youngest player to win the tournament since Maria Sharapova exactly 2 decades ago, and the youngest American since Serena Williams in 2001. With Sport Update, Suleiman Musa, NTA News.
The news of the death of NTA's Joy Osiagu has been described as a rude shock to everyone, especially her family members, the NTA family, and lives she touched during her sojourn on Earth. Joy Osiagu passed on to glory in the hospital after a brief illness on Friday, November 8, 2024. Let's watch this tribute.
To come up with innovative ideas towards enhancing government's efforts at creating a Nigerians in the diaspora are excited about democracy, and so Nigeria, led by the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, NIPC, will be
and she will surely be missed. That's Panorama. I'd like to thank you for watching. I'm Ayo Deji Makinde from all of us here in Abuja. Good afternoon.
Stay tuned.